What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link is in the description box below. Also, they asked me to put it up. I put it up. This video, though, is entitled You're Offended Because You Perpetuated a Stereotype. Or why are you offended? Because you perpetuated a stereotype. So I just happened to be looking at something. I came across something, and this young lady was doing an interview, and a guy asked her, how's your life? And she said, oh, my life is bravey. So when you put a B in front of something, that's like blood talk, like gang talk, So he's like, oh, you a blood? No, I'm not a blood. Why would you talk to me like I'm a gangbanger? And I'm sick of stuff like this. I really am. So you just put yourself out there as like you as a gangbanger, but then you got offended when somebody spoke to you as if you were a gangbanger. And that makes sense to you. And I'm about to go a lot of different places with this, because what I'm saying is people, we're in a society where everybody can every stereotype has a uniform. And what's funny is, back in the day, people used to say, don't judge a book by its cover, because every stereotype really didn't have a uniform like it does today. So now you want to fit now you're wearing a uniform of a stereotype, but now you don't want to be looked at as the stereotype that you're wearing a uniform as. Like, what? Case in point. I used to know guys when I was younger who used to be in the streets. Don't look at me as if I'm a gangster. Well, you got your hat, you got the colors, you got the hat, you got the flag. It's you got your hat pointed a certain way. You got the whole, you got the apparel that matches. You got the logo that matches. You got all of the obvious trappings of it that anybody who's in the streets or who's not in the streets can see. Oh yeah, they gangbang. But you don't want to be looked at as a gangbanger. You're a drug dealer. You got the classic drug dealer type car, classic drug dealer type clothes, classic drug dealer type appearance, and doing classic drug dealer stuff when you're on the street level, right? And it's like, but don't look at me as if I'm a drug dealer. I'm offended. Why you looking at me like that, dog? I'm looking at you how you put yourself out there. I didn't put you out here like this. You put yourself out here. And you can go to every neighborhood and see somebody, and every time you go outside of your neighborhood and you see people, you be like, oh yeah, that's a this, he's a that, he's a that, he's a that. How you know? Because look at the apparel. Everything I stated a minute ago, the very person who doesn't want to be stereotyped goes to other areas and sees people that do the same thing they do and be like, okay, that's who that is. That's what they are. That's what they are. That's what they are. But don't judge a book by its cover when it comes for you, because you're special. You're different. You're offended that people look at you the same way, that you pinpoint what other people are. Right. People used to tell those guys, why don't y'all dress different? Why don't y'all pick different cars? Why don't y'all, carry yourselves in a different manner? That way you wouldn't bring so much attention to yourself. But that didn't make sense to a lot of guys for some odd reason. With this young lady that I saw, you want to look like a stripper. You want to act like, a ride or die, gangster's chick. But don't. I'm offended that you're gonna treat me like that. You put yourself out there like that. Everybody knows, what stripper tattoos are. Everybody knows what gang talk is. Everybody knows what street vernacular looks like, and how it carries itself, and how it operates. And you want to be all of that to the T. You want to wear the uniform, and now all of a sudden, I'm a lady. No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't get to cut it on and off at your behest, even though you wanted to wear the uniform of it, right? And I know people think about that Dave Chappelle line. I know you are. But that's the problem, Just because I'm wearing the uniform of a police officer doesn't make me a police officer. Oh, okay. All right. You're right. But you're offended that people going to talk to you like that. And I see this all the time because old football reference. Guy say, this guy looks like Tarzan, but he plays like Jane. It's why people look like the part. He looks like he a killer. And then kickoff go. This dude is not a killer at all. He just tried to dress as nice as possible. Jeez, this guy's soft. So that's the problem, right? Because, back in the day, you wouldn't judge a book by its cover because you didn't know the mentality attached to the person that you were judging. But now, since, like I said before, everything has a uniform, even these stereotypes have a mentality attached to them. So now, you want to be the stereotype, look like the stereotype, be the mentality, but then don't want to be judged on it. But you put yourself out there like that. Okay. It's stupid. People, you want to put yourself out there as a if you want to put yourself out there as a nerd, and then why are you treating me like a nerd? I am not a nerd. I am an MMA legend. Maybe in your mind, but you presented yourself as a nerd. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with being a nerd. I'm just saying, same thing when people, people get mad because people are looked at as scam artists, like they present themselves as businessmen. I'm a businessman. And then when it's time to handle business, where's the business? And it's like, you know what? I'm not messing with you. Why? Because you're not really about your business. You're just about wearing the uniform of a businessman. When it's time to actually be a businessman, you don't know what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not up to snuff. And then, people are offended that, I'm offended that you're not taking me seriously as a businessman, because you're not. You're a businessman's uniform. You're not a businessman. It's different. And, that's a problem. A lot of you got guys, who get mad, I'm a grown man, but you're not you you presented yourself as immature, and you acted immature, and you have an immature mentality, but you're offended that people treat you like you're immature. So now you want to tell everybody you're a grown man. Respect me like a grown man, but you're not doing what grown men do, though. You didn't present yourself like grown men did. You didn't present yourself like a grown man would. So what are you actually offended by? The ladies do the same thing. I presented myself as mean, and then you get treated like you're mean. But why would you treat me like I'm mean and abrasive and aggressive? I ain't mean. I ain't abrasive. I ain't aggressive. Right. You're offended that I'm treating you how you put yourself out there. Oh, okay. That's offensive to you, but you're not mean. No! Hulk smash! Okay, I need to stop playing. But that's a problem. How could you be offended by a stereotype that you put yourself out there as? And what it looks like, and at this particular point in life how people treat those stereotypes. But what you want to do is you want to play into the stereotype and be treated the absolute opposite. No. That's what happens when you know, I used to clown with my aunt. I was like, I don't like Michael Eric Dyson. She's like, why? It's like, cause he always talk like he's smart, but he ain't really saying nothing. And then and people like, what are you talking about? Well, to see the crypto fascism of the superficies and the circumference of this racism in this diametrically opposed you know, oligarchy, and this plutocracy has got us in a switcheroo, you know, as and Biggie Smalls would say, you know, more money, more problems. I'd have choke you. You know? And it's like, yeah, okay. So if I treat him like, you know, that's the stereotype, right? It's like, but if you ask him a straight up question, huh? Exactly. I'm not saying the man isn't intelligent. I'm just saying, you know, the persona. But it's like, come on, man. You know, you put yourself out there as super smart, but you're not smart enough to know how to talk to people who are not super smart. And then when people who are smart, who don't act, who are super smart, who are smart enough to be able to communicate with people on a basic level, so everybody can understand them at the same time, breaks down your super smartness, and it's like, ain't that bright, huh? Sounded good, ain't that bright. But people get offended, you know, because if I'm like, I gotta go back a little bit. Because the same thing happens when, you know, people put themselves out as how can I put this? It's kind of like putting yourself out there as a bully and then picking fights and then getting punched in the face and then looking and like, why don't nobody help me? I look like a bully and I act like a bully and I dress like a bully and I speak like a bully, but I'm really a teddy bear. I'm really a sensitive guy. You let him punch me? Like, no. And because you're offended when people approach you as such. And people should approach you as such, because at this particular point, you're putting yourself out there. Like, people, you know, put themselves out there, you know, I got all these tattoos that for all of these reasons. Okay, so I'm gonna treat you like that. You know, I have all of this. I'm innovative. I'm creative. You know, people put themselves out there as being creative, and it's like when you see them and they're not creating anything, it's like, okay, so you're not really creative. You're just hiding under the uniform of creativity to be able to stall for time and procrastinate in life. That's what this is about. You know, because if creative people gonna go through ups and downs as far as financially, but if you know, if somebody and they understand this, so like right now I'm at a downtime, I'm still creating, blah blah blah. You know, eventually I'm gonna do what I do, and it's gonna pop and it's gonna hit, and I'll be at an up. But see, there are other people who are offended. Why are you treating me like a creative person? You know, I need funding for you to help me get through this time. You've been going through this time for 17 years consecutively. You ain't made nothing. Oh, I'm just at a rough patch. It ain't a rough patch that long, bro. So, you know, I don't understand how you can be offended by perpetuating a stereotype. I just don't. I got to cut this stuff short because I got things to do. We out.